October 13th, 1307, Friday the 13th, King Philip IV of France orders the simultaneous arrest of every Knight Templar in his kingdom. Thousands seized in a single night. Their crime? Knowing too much about power and how it really works. Fast forward to 1947, President Truman signs the National Security Act, creating the CIA, an organization operating in the shadows, accountable to no one, with unlimited resources and global reach. Coincidence? I think not. What if I told you the organizational blueprint for modern intelligence agencies like the CIA, MI6, and Mossad was written 700 years ago by a warrior monk who controlled kings, manipulated economies, and operated the world's first international banking cartel? Today, we're connecting the dots they don't want you to see. This is the hidden lineage of shadow power from the Knights Templar to the modern surveillance state. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at intelligence agencies the same way again. Welcome back to the Jeremy Ryan Slate Show. I am your host, Jeremy Ryan Slate, the CEO and co-founder of Command Your Brand. We help our clients to make an impact on some of the biggest podcasts out there. You can grab our new Brand Authority Blueprint over at commandyourbrand.com/blueprint. And you can find me on X. I am at Jeremy Ryan Slate over there as well. Reminder to like this video, subscribe, and to comment and keep the conversation going as well. So let's start with what they taught you in school, which is almost nothing. The Knights Templar were just warrior monks protecting pilgrims during the Crusades, right? Well, they got too powerful. The church shut them down. End of story. But here's what they don't tell you. The Templars weren't just warriors. They were the world's first multinational intelligence network, operating across Europe and the Middle East with levels of sophistication that wouldn't be seen again until the 20th century. So think about their structure. Compartmentalized cells across dozens of countries. Encrypted communications using ciphers. A hierarchy where only the top knew the full picture. Diplomatic immunity, they answered to no king, only the Pope. And unlimited funding through their banking operations. Does this sound familiar? Because that's exactly how the CIA operates today. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Templars didn't just protect pilgrims. They gathered intelligence. Every knight traveling between Europe and the Holy Land was a spy, reporting back on political movements, military capabilities, economic conditions. They knew who was planning what before kings did. They had advance warning of coups, invasions, and financial collapses. And they used that information to position themselves at the center of power. In 1150, they established the first international banking system. You could deposit money at a Templar fortress in Paris and withdraw it in Jerusalem using an encrypted note. No gold needed to travel, just information. They were moving money across borders, financing wars, and lending to kings at interest. They made themselves indispensable. Sound like anyone you know? The Federal Reserve, perhaps? The IMF? The World Bank? By 1300, the Templars were so powerful, they effectively controlled European finance. They owned more land than most kingdoms. They had their own navy, their own army, and their own diplomatic corps. They were a state within states, a shadow government operating across borders, accountable to no one. And that's exactly why they had to be destroyed. So what really happened on Friday the 13th, 1307? King Philip IV of France was drowning in debt. Debt he owed to the Templars. He borrowed heavily to finance wars, and the Templars were calling in their loans. Philip had a choice: pay up and bankrupt France or eliminate the creditor. He chose option 2, working with Pope Clement V, who Philip had essentially installed. The king orchestrated a coordinated strike. Every Templar in France was arrested simultaneously, charged with heresy, devil worship, spitting on the cross, all of which were fabricated. Under torture, some confessed to anything their captors wanted. In 1312, Pope Clement officially dissolved the order. By 1314, the last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake in Paris. The official story, the Templars were gone, destroyed, end of story. But here's where the thing about shadow organizations, they don't just disappear. See, the Templars had advance warning. Their intelligence network was just too good. Knights escaped across Europe, taking their knowledge, their wealth, and their organizational secrets with them. Where did they go? Scotland, Portugal, Switzerland, places beyond Philip's reach. And they didn't just vanish. In fact, they evolved. In Scotland, they integrated with local nobility. Some historians believe that they fought at Bannockburn in 1314, helping Robert the Bruce to defeat the English. In Portugal, King Dinis simply renamed them the Order of Christ. Same knights, different name. They kept their lands, their wealth, their power. One of their later members, a navigator named Henry. You might know him as Prince Henry the Navigator, who launched the Age of Discovery. But most interesting evolution happened underground. The Templars' organizational model, their rituals, their knowledge, it didn't die. It went dormant, and it reemerged in the 1600s as Freemasonry. Now, I'm not saying every Freemason is part of a grand conspiracy, but the connections are undeniable. Masonic rituals mirror Templar ceremonies. The organizational structure is nearly identical. Every Masonic lodges claimed direct Templar lineage. Many founding documents reference ancient wisdom from the Crusades. And here's where it connects to modern intelligence. Freemasonry became the networking organization for European and American elites. Politicians, military leaders, industrialists, all connected through lodge memberships. When you needed to communicate across borders, coordinate activities, and move money without government oversight, you used their lodge network. It was the CIA before the CIA existed. Now let's jump to 1947. World War II just ended. America is the dormant superpower. And Washington has a problem. They need a way to project power globally, gather intelligence, conduct operations that Congress and the public can never know about. They need an organization that operates in the shadows with unlimited resources and zero accountability. They need the Templars, but they call it the CIA. The National Security Act of 1947 creates the Central Intelligence Agency. And if you look at how it's structured, it's the Templar model. Global network of operatives in every country, compartmentalized operations on a need-to-know basis, black budgets funded through mechanisms Congress doesn't fully understand, and diplomatic cover through embassies. The ability to operate outside normal legal constraints. But here's what really connects the dots. Who built the CIA? The Office of Strategic Services, the CIA's predecessor, was run by Wall Street lawyers and Ivy League elites. Many were Freemasons. Many came from families with deep connections to European secret societies. Allen Dulles, CIA director from 1953 to 1961, came from a family of diplomats and spies. His brother, John Foster Dulles, was Secretary of State. Together, they ran American foreign policy, and they operated like Templar Grand Masters. They overthrew governments in Iran, Guatemala, and the Congo. They ran MKUltra mind control experiments. They planned the Bay of Pigs invasions, and they were involved in, well, we'll save that for another video. The point is, they operated as a state within a state, accountable to no one, pursuing their own agenda. And it's not just the CIA. Look at MI6 in Britain, same model. Mossad in Israel, same model. Every major intelligence agency follows the Templar blueprint. Operate across borders, maintain secrecy through compartmentalization, control information flows, influence policy from the shadows, ensure financial independence, but the modern version is more powerful because of technology. The Templars had couriers and coded messages. The CIA has satellites, signal intelligence, cyber warfare capabilities. They can monitor every phone call, every email, every financial transaction on the planet. Edward Snowden exposed just a fraction of it in the 2013 NSA's PRISM program, collecting data on millions of Americans without warrants. And that's just what we know about. The surveillance state the Templars could only dream of, well, it's here. It's operational, and it's run by organizations using the same playbook written 700 years ago. But there's one more piece of this puzzle we need to address: the money. Remember how the Templars pioneered international banking? Well, that didn't go away either. In 1913, the Federal Reserve is created, a private banking cartel with the power to print America's money. It's owned by private banks, operates in secret, and has never been fully audited. Who pushed for its creation? Well, a small group of bankers meeting in secret on Jekyll Island, Georgia in 1910. Many had connections to European banking families with roots going back centuries. The Rothschilds, the Warburgs, J.P. Morgan. These weren't just businessmen. They were part of an international financial network that transcended borders and governments, just like the Templars. And here's the kicker. The CIA's black budget, the money they use for operations, Congress doesn't know about. Where does it come from? Drug trafficking in Southeast Asia, during Vietnam, arms sales to Iran in the 1980s. We know about these because they got caught. What don't we know about? The same organization that gathers intelligence also moves money outside normal channels, just like the Templars did in their banking network. It's the exact same system, evolved, perfected, but hidden in plain sight. And before you think I'm crazy, remember, the CIA admitted to MKUltra. They admitted to Operation Mockingbird, infiltrating the media organizations. And they admitted to overthrowing democratically elected governments. These aren't theories. These are documented facts that were once, quote, conspiracy theories, until the documents got declassified. The point is that power doesn't disappear. It evolves. The organizational model the Templars created 900 years ago, a shadow network operating across borders, controlling information and money, accountable to no one. Well, that model never died. It just changed. From Templars to Freemasons to modern intelligence agencies, the blueprint remains the same. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The next time you hear about the CIA operations, NSA surveillance, or financial manipulations by central banks, ask yourself, who really controls this? Who benefits? And who's watching the watchers? Because 700 years ago, when the Templars got too powerful, a king could burn them at the stake. Today, the surveillance state is so entrenched, so powerful, so interconnected with government and finance that it's become virtually untouchable. They're not coming for them. They are them. If this opened your eyes, hit the like button and subscribe, because we're just getting started uncovering the connections they don't want you to see. Drop a comment with what you want to see me investigate next, and we'll look at it on the show. I'll catch you next time on The Jeremy Ryan Slate Show.